Good evening and welcome to the Gaming Kin podcast. As always, I'm Jack, and as always with me is Mark. We do apologise for being a week later than originally planned. We had some technical problems. My laptop had an absolute boot failure and I had to get the hard drive replaced. But praise the sun, we are back.
Praise it. Praise it dearly.
And you were the one that was against using the meme if anything ever went wrong?
If it works, it works.
It works. So, will we start with news? Will we start with some speculation? Or will we start with the topic, which is going to be condensed because we do have 3 weeks worth of news?
Whatever works. You're the boss.
I'm not the boss. I'm just the one that started the YouTube channel and the podcast. There is no actual boss. Well, why don't we just start with our favourite FF moments? Well, I'll start. I've got my notes on my laptop, which is sitting right in front of us. But my favourite, I've got a lot of favourite FF moments. Not all of them are favourite because of them being good and on their own, but also because of the implications they have throughout the rest of the game. And some of them are just really cool bits on their own. But I think, taking all those into account, my favourite is probably Aerith's death. Like, not Aerith dying in such, but more the impact it has on the rest of your party. I mean, I remember playing Final Fantasy my first ever playthrough back in '97. Yes, I am that old. I was 7 when the game came out.
Like how you remembered it right back to the year.
Well,
see, not when I was a kid, no. Back in '97.
Back in '97, it was good times. It was simpler times, but I played at least 4 hours a day every day, and I think
much has changed.
I know.
Change these.
Well, I was in school at the time, and I had a bedtime and all that. So I think by this point I'd plugged about 100 hours into the game. I had everyone really well leveled, and then, spoiler alert, Aerith dies. She gets a massive 30-foot sword right through her. But a lot of games, the character dies and they move on. I mean, it might get referenced later on, but you just they're briefly mourning the story, and then it's as if nothing happens, or they kind of get forgotten. Like in Mass Effect, when you kind of have to pick between Ashley and Caden. Like, depending on how you played the game, it might have had more of an effect than if you didn't. Like, if you didn't initiate a romantic relationship with Caden, but rather with Liara, and then Caden dies, it's kind of like, Caden's dead, okay. But if you initiate a relationship with Caden and then Caden dies, it kind of changes the story a bit.
A little bit.
So, but there is a game on the DS, and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's permadeath. So when a character dies, they're dead forever. You can't revive them, but it doesn't change the story. It just changes how easy it is to get through the story.
Are you talking about Fire Emblem?
I don't think I'm talking about Fire Emblem.
That does have a permadeath feature though.
It could be Fire Emblem.
There's different playthroughs. You get Classic, which is I don't recommend because fuck that noise. And then you get the new one, which is like you can revive them and shit.
But I mean, it's just one of those things. Aerith is the third character you get in your party. You get Barret, then Tifa, then Aerith, and you spend so much time leveling up Aerith, and because like the way the game's built, she's kind of your main healer. She doesn't have to be, but she kind of is. Especially with her limit breaks being healing abilities.
Yeah.
And it puts so much time into leveling her up and all that, just for her to kind of die and not be brought back. It kind of sucks. But when you get to like parts like the raid on Midgar right at the end, and all the story stuff that goes with it, and you see how much it has an effect on the story, because it would have been totally different if Aerith had lived, So like I think really my favourite moment is everything after Aerith dying because it just ramps up the story rather than Aerith's death in general. But I would have rather Aerith not die, to be fair, because if you use a cheat thingy and get Aerith back in the team after that, she does have dialogue, and it's in places where you wouldn't have been able to get to with Aerith in the first place. So it's not like you've missed it because you didn't go there first. She was going to be in the game right to the end, but to give the story some more impetus, they've killed her off, and it worked well, and it is a very memorable moment for me, and it definitely is one of my favourites because of the implications it has on the rest of the story. Other ones that were up for consideration were the fight against Sin in Final Fantasy X, the opera scene in 6, the musical at the start of 9, Will You Be My Canary? They're all in for contention, as well as in Final Fantasy IV, fighting against yourself, when Cecil is trying to become a paladin instead of being a dark knight, so to fight the darkness within. They were all up for consideration, but Aerith's death is the one that I think stuck with most Final Fantasy gamers the longest.
Well, yeah, I mean, you play the entire game, to that point, thinking, if anyone dies, it's fine, just need Phoenix down them, that's cool, come back. And you get this moment and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
She did that? How? Oh.
I didn't realise this game had permadeath. But no, I've played Final Fantasy quite a lot, like Final Fantasy 7, quite a lot of times since that, and I don't really use Aerith as much as I'd like to, because I know that I'm going to put in all this work leveling her up just for her to die, and it's a shame because Aerith is a great character as well, so I mean, it's...
No, you try not to get attached, because you know it's not going to last. So.
Yeah, I mean, it ruins replays of it, because you know that there's not really much of a point.
Well, it makes the fights up until then easier if you have an equal team.
Yeah. Yeah, but then I just used Tifa and Barret alongside Cloud.
Yeah, that was my favourite.
Until I get Vincent.
Oh god, Vincent.
My usual team was Cloud, Vincent, and Tifa.
Trying to put my team was back in it there. No, Nicola.
I can see the cogs turning.
Too much of a hangover. Yeah. Should I go now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I've got like a top 3 selection because simple. But in Final Fantasy X, when Sin appears first, that's when Tidus is in the Blitzball game.
Yes, that was an amazing scene.
That cutscene and the music.
Yes.
Oh man, that stuck with me for years. And in fact, Blitzball is just fucking amazing to play, which should have got its own game. Just saying.
Well, a lot of people say that if Square Enix did bring out Blitzball as its own game, they would buy it and play it.
I mean, they could easily expand it so much.
Yeah,
amazing.
I would do the same with Triple Triad as well.
Huh?
The card game in the 8.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot about that. I love that game.
I'll also play it. It's also in 14. You get the Golden Saucer in 14.
All right.
And you can play Triple Triad in the Golden Saucer in Final Fantasy 14, and I love doing that.
That's pretty cool. What else? I got that. Like, I'm gonna be lazy. For me, a lot of it is cutscenes. Like, Final Fantasy 9, I believe, when they're leaving the forest, and you lose
Blank. Yeah.
Oh man, that's helped me as well.
Like the starting of the Final Fantasy games they're always quite epic. You know, they build you up for the rest of the game. They just show you how good everything's going to be.
Oh, and a side note, when it comes to 9, is when Garnet becomes Dagger. And that cutscene just good cutting all the hair. Man, it's deep. Oh, and finally, how did it go again? Ha 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 ha.
Are we back on Final Fantasy X?
Yeah. Oh man, that scene came out of nowhere. That was fucking funny. I remember playing that game with my folks in the room, and they're just looking at it going, "What is he playing?"
It is. See, the thing is, that's the worst bit of voice acting in a big budget game I've ever seen. But at the same time, because it's meant to be a fake laugh, it works so well.
But it's so fucking cringy. Oh god.
It's great because it's cringy though. That's the thing. You know, it's there's just so many great moments in the Final Fantasy franchise. It's really difficult to bring it down to just a couple. I mean, I spent like weeks just going, what should I pick? What one should I do? It's such a difficult thing. I'm going to have to apologise for the sudden change in audio quality. I realised I hadn't actually plugged in the board and I couldn't be bothered recording everything again. So we're just going to continue on from the section where I realised I hadn't done it.
Yep, that's you're the boss.
I should know better though. I'm a sound engineer. So yes, some time for a wee bit of speculation. We have, we covered the fact that Smash Bros. 5 is coming out when we covered the Nintendo Direct presentation in our last podcast. And there's been a lot of speculation going around on the internet and on YouTube about new characters we could see, be they new regular characters or new guest characters.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some of them are highly likely for various reasons, and some of them are so unlikely that I don't know whether to laugh or cry. Now, I mean, we did have Cloud and Ryu, and they have nothing to do with Nintendo at all.
But pretty cool.
Well, Ryu, Street Fighter was on the NES, was it not?
Nicola.
Or the SNES.
I was always more of a Tekken fan.
So, but Final Fantasy VII was not on the NES or the SNES. So anyone could be in it at any time. So not saying that some of the more out there ones can't happen, just they're more unlikely to happen. Now, one that I seen which I thought was definitely a shoe-in for it was Solera Vestora.
Of course.
Because I mean, Dark Souls is coming out on Switch. We're getting the Solera amiibo, so we can praise the sun with reckless abandon, and it just makes sense that he would also be in Smash 5.
Yeah, going viral. Yep. Everyone's going to be praising the sun.
Yes. Another one I heard was possibly someone from Undertale, which would be a really interesting one to do, really, because I've not played a lot of Undertale. Actually, I've not played Undertale at all.
Same.
But I've seen plenty of videos, and there's no real combat animation. Like, someone suggested using the mass combo of attacks that Sans uses on you when you fight him as his final smash, if they did use Sans. And like, there is animation for that, but it's like him just throwing his hand around and his eye lighting up. But actually turning that into a kind of 3D brawler kind of thing would be an interesting thing to see.
It'd be very different, I'll give you that.
Any that you want to bring up before I bring up more?
Any possible characters?
Yeah, even if it wasn't ones in videos or things, just one that you want to see and think maybe, or...
Well, I mean, there's been Pikachu in that, but I suppose they could bring in a costume for Detective Pikachu if they haven't already.
Well, that was one that I'd actually seen kicking about as well. Either making the Detective Pikachu costume an alternative design for Pikachu, because you can have, like, I think up to 8 players on Smash Bros, like 4 on one console and 4 on another, kind of online play. And if everyone picked the same character, you could give them different outfits. So I don't know if it's going to be bringing in Detective Pikachu as a character or
just using simple costume,
using it as an alternative costume. I don't know which it would be, but I've seen people mentioning that.
Seems like a logical thing to do. I mean, by the same logic as you gave the Dark Souls guy, but him getting his own amiibo.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Detective Pikachu got a giant amiibo.
Oh, giant Detective Pikachu.
Well, it was like double the size of a standard Pikachu amiibo, so...
Yeah, it was cool. It was very cool.
Another one that I've seen rumoured is Crash. Because, like, when it was Naughty Dog that done Crash, it was a PlayStation exclusive, but after that, the mainline games went to Xbox and PC as well, but Nintendo got a lot of spin-off games on the Game Boy Color and Advance.
Mm.
So I could see that one coming as well, especially with the Insane Trilogy coming to the Switch this year.
By argument, no, I just want Spyro. Because Spyro's better.
Spyro. Sorry, it was only Twitter going off.
Boo.
That's how I keep up with all my gaming news. That's how I have all my stuff from my podcast.
Wow, you do so much research. Oh, Twitter says this.
I don't just check Twitter.
That's what you said.
I also go on Polygon and Game Ranks and What Culture and Rock Paper Shotgun and Kotaku and IGN and GameSpot and GameFAQs and Wiki and
And that's why he's the boss.
no, that's why when it comes around to actually doing the podcast, I sound like I'm half asleep because I don't actually do it through the 2 weeks. I usually do it like the 2 nights before and get 2 weeks worth of news in the space of 2 nights.
Whereas I'm just hungover. So, there's that.
Results.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, there's lots of characters rumoured, lots of characters that could be coming, some that might not, some that we could see as DLC. With Kirby Star Allies coming out, we could probably see like the likes of Bandana Waddle Dee or any, characters you could have in your Dream Party who aren't already in Smash. That's one that I didn't actually see mentioned anywhere, but that's one that I could see happening, especially considering the creator, Sakurai.
Mhm.
He is the creator of Kirby as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if I've seen some more Kirby characters with Kirby Star Allies coming out so soon. Actually, no, not coming out so soon. It was released last week.
Damn, time's
ago.
flown.
Yeah, well, it released a couple of days after our last podcast,
Oh, right, yeah.
and then the first update was like a week later.
Hmm.
So yeah, but we have no idea. For the usual Pokemon character, it's probably going to be someone from Pokemon Switch, but we don't know anything about Pokemon Switch. Is it going to be a whole new Pokemon game with a new region and those Pokemon, or is it going to be the kind of Pokemon game everybody wants, where you can go between all the regions and you can start in one and go to the next one and all that? We don't have a clue. But if it is just a new region with new Pokemon, I expect it'll probably be one of the starter Pokemon.
Makes more sense.
Like probably the fully evolved version or something, but I expect it'll probably be one of the starter Pokemon.
Just the later generations will never live up to originals.
Well,
Simple.
I remember hearing that Sun and Moon was really good. Because it was while it was the same mechanics, it presented it in a different way, and it went down really well. Because it was trials instead of gyms.
That sounds random as hell.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I haven't played it, so I don't actually know. I've just heard it.
Mm.
But in the last 3 weeks, there has been some weird shit going on in the gaming world. I was watching a video the other night called Game Rank's Top 10 Weird Gaming Stories of March 2018. And a few of them caught my attention. Game Rank's YouTube, their weird gaming stories. It comes out at the end of every month, and they're always worth a watch. I definitely recommend watching those videos. But the 3 of them, which I'm going to bring up, is firstly, a woman in the States stabbed her boyfriend with a katana because A, he was playing too much PUBG, and B, she thought he was cheating on him.
So basically, she's not getting impaled enough herself, so she's taking matters into her own hands.
Pretty much. Another one was drug dealers in the Netherlands have been making NES cartridges using 3D printers as a way to hide cocaine as they distribute it.
Yeah, because that's going to go like, unnoticed.
And finally, a Chinese woman superglues a rat trap to her husband's face because he spends too much time playing games on their phone.
Well, I wouldn't know is how the hell did you get it on his face in the first place? Here, honey, look at this. Doosh!
Actually, he was just sitting playing his phone. Like, there's a video of it on the Daily Mail website.
Oh my god.
And she has her phone out and walks up and just slaps him in the face with it. And it's so funny. To be fair, at least she didn't stab him with a katana.
Well, there is that.
But yeah, that's just 3 that caught my attention. Like I said, it's the top 10 weird gaming stories of the month. Yeah, definitely worth watching. I showed it to Mark before we started, and some of them made him giggle, some of them made him cringe, and that is pretty much the point of that video, is to give you a cringe, give you a laugh, and sometimes make you think, what the fuck.
My life in miniature.
But on to the real news. I say that like this is more important than that. Every story in gaming news is important. Just some are more important to others than they are.
Ooh, Animal Farm version, nice.
Oh no, it's true. Like, for example, say the big news was FIFA 19 this year is going to cut down men's football and promote only women's football. That would be a big bit of news to someone who plays FIFA or is a big supporter of women's football. Whereas I like to play RPGs, so I'd be like, okay, good for it. Do you know what I mean? Every gaming story is important to someone, somewhere, and none of it should be considered unimportant. Just because I've tried to make that sound like not real news, and what we're going to move on to is more important. It's not, at least not to someone out there in internet land. But some news that is really important to me personally is Square Enix have opened a new studio. The director of Final Fantasy 15 is in charge of it, and a lot of the guys and girls really that worked on Final Fantasy 15 are going to this new studio with them. It's based in Tokyo. It's called Luminous Productions, and it is headed up by Hajime Tabata, and he is going to bring, like I said, a lot of the people that worked on Final Fantasy with him. They're going to be working on some new AAA titles, and hopefully working on a new IP, because that's what Tabata wants to do just now. He doesn't really want to work on Final Fantasy, he wants to work on something new. However, I do expect that if Square are definitely going to be continuing support for Final Fantasy 15, especially with the Royal Edition just launching, any further support will come from Luminous Studios.
Makes more sense.
Because it would be mostly the same team working on it that way anyway.
Yeah, just keep it under one roof.
So that's kind of cool news. I've told Mark that I would love to go to Japan and work for Square Enix in the sound engineering department. However, I would mostly like to work in Division 1 under Yoshinori Kitase, making the mainline Final Fantasy games, or in Division 6 under Mr. Naoki Yoshida, making Final Fantasy 14. All the continued expansions and patches for that. I think it would be really cool.
And I'm just blown away by your forethought into all this.
Final Fantasy has been one of the staples in my life, and I've always wanted to work in games, and music has always been kind of my thing when it comes to not video games but another hobby. And so doing sound engineering sounded like a great idea, and my inspiration for doing that was Nobuo Uematsu, who pretty much headed up most of Square Enix music department at the time. And he was actually a big inspiration for me to go ahead and do that, because I would love to work to the level that he can do, because he didn't just do the sound engineering, he also composed the music, he rearranged it into a kind of J-rock style and toured with a band called the Black Mages.
Oh yeah.
He is semi-retired now. Like, I think he only really does the main theme for Final Fantasy games. He no longer does the rest of the soundtrack.
Mm.
And he goes around doing doing kind of the Black Mages, but not specifically Final Fantasy, with a band called Earthbound Papas, which is really cool. You should definitely check them out. But yeah, no, that was it's been a big part of my life since I first picked up Final Fantasy when I played Final Fantasy VII. So yeah, it's something I've really wanted to do. So I would definitely have some knowledge about it.
Definitely seems so.
I like to try and include a wee bit of Switch news in every podcast, as you know. Well, third-party hardware maker Hori, I don't know quite how to pronounce it. Hori. If you know how to pronounce it, then send me an email with a voice clip in it, and I'll learn it. But they're making a left Joy-Con for the Switch, which features a cross-button D-pad instead of the 4 buttons that normally come on Joy-Con. But it has some issues. For example, it's Japan only, and if it does come to the West, several functions aren't supported. It only works in handheld mode, so you can't put it in the grip and play it on the TV. It doesn't work for local multiplayer. It doesn't work in tabletop modes. Also, it doesn't have the gyroscopes or the accelerometers in it. It doesn't vibrate. It doesn't have the buttons on the side because you're only going to be using it in handheld mode. So, yeah.
So, Jack, I think the question is, what does it do?
Well, see if you're playing in handheld mode, things like Skyrim, Doom, Breath of the Wild, you're playing it on the go.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people prefer the kind of cross D-pad, like on a PlayStation. Well, not really on a PlayStation. It's a similar format, but
Yeah.
it's the whole one button thing, like on the NES. And
Yeah.
for people who want that instead of 4 circular buttons for your D-pad,
Mm-hmm.
it basically gives you that. Like I said, there are a lot of drawbacks because it doesn't have a lot of functionality other than working in handheld mode. I mean, it doesn't need to have the buttons on the inside because it's going to be docked onto it anyway, so that's not too big of an issue. However, if they can work out all the kinks to give it the gyroscope and the rumble feature, and like, because they do make good quality stuff. They're the guys that make a lot of the competition controllers.
All right, yeah.
So, it's definitely worth keeping an eye on if they do upgrade it to be more functional.
Mm-hmm.
It's especially if it's going at the price point it's going just now. It's going for 2,480 yen when it comes out in July, which will be about £16 over here,
Okay.
or $24 if you're in the States, I think, if my maths is right. But yeah, it's definitely something to keep an eye on if they do manage to, if it keeps the same price point and it does have more functionality. If they upgrade it, then it's definitely worth probably buying if it does go that way. In its current state,
No.
it's
No.
only for Skyrim, really. Only for Skyrim. But if you do need a D-pad rather than the buttons, at the moment you've got the Pro Controller anyway, so it won't work in handheld mode, but it will work when it's docked or in tabletop mode. Recently, Unreal had its State of Unreal presentation at the Games Developers Conference. Epic Games spent time looking forward to the era of photorealistic graphics in the Unreal Engine. There was 3 demos that were showed off, and they looked amazing.
Yeah, quite awe-inspiring.
I showed Marc to them earlier tonight when he turned up here. The first one was Reflections from ILMX Lab, and they basically showed you a kind of
Cutscene kind of thing.
cutscene from what looked like an actual Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I actually had to ask, like, why are you watching Star Wars?
Yeah.
God damn.
But this was them showing off what Unreal Engine 4 can do. It's all about tracking light and how it reflects off things, given by the name Reflections.
Mm-hmm.
And they made the smart move of using Captain Phasma because,
Damn.
it's a chrome stormtrooper essentially.
The shiny one.
Yes. It looked so realistic. I mean, I think if you had people in it that weren't stormtroopers or Captain Phasma, you might
Notice it just the differences.
notice just a wee bit. Because the next one is one, it looks realistic, but you still know you're looking at an AI.
Yeah, but it's getting there. That's a weird thing.
But when it was all stormtroopers and Captain Phasma, it looked so realistic. But the next one is Siren, the digital human. And it's a digital character, all digital, but with motion tracking of backstage, where Alexa Lee, an actress, plays the character, and it's just everything's rendered to look like someone else, and they're just doing the motion capture for it, but it's all in real time. It's amazing. Like, I could tell I was watching CGI.
Yeah, but still, it's getting close.
But it was so close that I actually had to do a double take. That's the thing.
It's just like 10 years from now. Damn.
10 years from now, video games are going to look more realistic than us.
Not really hard to do. I look built like a joke right now. Damn. I mean, plus, like, how VR is just starting right now, like, getting properly out there.
Yeah.
10 years from now, oh man. I'm hoping for like an entire VR room. You walk in, it's like the conveyor belt kind of floor thing. Oh, dude, that's what I want in the future. Anyway, back to the point.
And the last one was face tracking specifically.
Yeah, this one creeped me out, I'm not going to lie.
So they got Andy Serkis to, put the stuff on his face to track all his motions. Now, if you don't know who Andy Serkis is, he's a famous digital actor.
Yeah, he's quite precious.
Not everyone knows. Some people might be, I've never heard of him. They'll be familiar with his work, but they might not have heard of him in general. They might not know the name.
Mm-hmm.
Right, he's played Gollum in Lord of the Rings. He's Snoke in the new Star Wars trilogy.
You'll see his claw in Black Panther.
Yes. So he's pretty.
He's low key big.
Yeah.
He was also in was it Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I've got that in my notes. I just went over it.
Oh yeah, you did say that. Straight up, sorry. Hungover, my bad.
But he has the face tracking gear on, and they scanned his head, and he delivers a monologue from Macbeth, but the engine showed his face as an alien's engine, an alien's face, and it was so realistic, and it caught all the twitches and movements in the face. I mean, like I remember playing Beyond Two Souls,
and
that's all done kind of like that. It's all motion capture, and Willem Dafoe's character looks like Willem Dafoe, and all of that,
which is off in itself.
And I thought that was amazing. I thought there's no way they're going to be able to catch up to that. And then GTA 5 came out.
Yeah, Jesus.
And I thought, definitely no way of catching up with that. And then this came out.
Yeah, fuck.
So, yeah, that was pretty amazing. But it wouldn't be a Gaming Kin podcast if EA didn't come up somewhere.
Whoa.
However, this may be good news for a change.
Unlikely. Really is.
Well, on 21st of March, Star Wars Battlefront 2 got its latest update, which doesn't just overhaul the game's progression and take loot crates out of it. All the game's heroes have been unlocked, and anything you bought using like the loot box system, all your star cards and stuff, you get to keep them. If you didn't buy them, then, well, tough, essentially. But all loot boxes are now cosmetic. That's the word I'm looking for. And you now get loot boxes every time you level up. And you will get, kind of star cards from those ones. But ones that you actually buy with in-game currency, you can't buy them with real currency at the moment.
Good.
You get emotes and skins and voice lines and victory poses and all that kind of stuff.
Basic crap you get from a loot box.
Yeah, the kind of Overwatch kind of thing.
Yeah, was unnecessary shit.
You still get premium currency. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
You will unlock any new heroes that EA might add to the game with that. And also you can buy, whatchamacallit, you can actually buy cosmetic items straight up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to say. Instead of try to get it in a loot box roll.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's always the downside of this. Like,
but it's more expensive that way.
Yeah, but like that's always the biggest downside of Battlefront was the fact, basically, like 20% of the games you can play that straight up.
Pretty much pay to win. So
it's just ridiculous.
If you were one of those folk that took a break until this whole loot box thing calmed down, you are going to be at a disadvantage because everybody got to keep all the stuff they got from the loot boxes. But if they've also rebalanced how you get the credits, so you should be able to get credits quite quickly for, your cosmetic items. But you should be able to level up a lot quicker as well. Hopefully. Yeah. So you should start catching up pretty quick.
Yeah, but even then, like, if you get to play as characters you want to play as, it's going to feel less like a grind.
Yeah.
It's a lot better than getting stuck with, imagine it's like Jar Jar Binks for 60 hours just to get, Han Solo, you're like, oh my god, I may kill myself.
Luckily, you don't get to play as Jar Jar Binks in Battlefront 2.
Oh, you should. Because there's going to be one guy who'll keep trying to kill you as Jar Jar and you'll want to cry.
Well, a lot of games now, if you're caught cheating or hacking the game, you get put into a kind of cheater's lobby.
Really?
Yeah. On GTA, if you're put in the cheater's lobby, you get a dunce cap. For anyone that doesn't know what a dunce cap is, it's that kind of circular triangle hat that you wear in school if you're an idiot.
A cone with a D on it.
Yeah. Or it just actually says dunce on it.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, the point is, that's the punishment in GTA. Bad player lobby, cheaters lobby, dunce cap. In Battlefront 2, they should have a cheaters lobby and everybody should just play as Jar Jar.
That'd be insane. With Jar Jar to rule them all.
It would be mental.
Fucking Highlander version.
In kind of businessy news, it's not something we would normally cover. Normally we do things like what we think of games, game patches, release dates, things like that. But this is more the business side of it. Ubisoft has finally gotten rid of Vivendi. Vivendi have been trying to launch a hostile takeover of Ubisoft for so long. And Vivendi have now sold all their shares. And the shares have been split. Vivendi had a 22% stake in the company. And now you've got the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan having 3.4% and Tencent have 5%. Tencent, for those who don't know, are the guys that publish PUBG in China. They're kind of like the biggest gaming company in the world, yet they pretty much just published PUBG in China, as far as I'm aware.
It's a bit worrying. It's like a pure shadow company.
Yeah, it's mental. But the rest of the 22% has gone to the family of the owners and various other things like that. However, their partnership, inverted commas, I don't know. Basically, this is a kind of win for Ubisoft because Tencent would now publish some of their more successful titles in the Chinese market. You know, so we'll see what games go over. I imagine that Division 2 is probably going to be one of them.
Really?
When that comes out.
Still don't get how those kind of games work.
Maybe Assassin's Creed.
Maybe.
But yeah, we'll see where that goes. It's but well, here's what I've got on Tencent right here. Right, it's currently valued at more than $550 billion.
Damn.
It owns League of Legends developer Riot Games.
Oh, okay, now I get it.
It has a significant stake in Supercell, who do Clash of Clans.
Damn.
Epic Games, who make the Unreal Engine. It's got a 40% stake in Epic Games, yet I believe Bluehole, who make PUBG, threatened to sue Epic Games, which would then affect Tencent, the folk that publish their game in China.
What?
Exactly. So yeah, it's a big company, but the only game they're really known for is PUBG in China.
Just
So, yeah, that is pretty big stuff.
it is pretty insane.
Next up on my list, I was saying we don't really do businessy stuff. We mostly do talked about games. We have a release date for you.
Ooh.
Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age is coming to the West in September. Square Enix announced it a couple of weeks back. The game will hit PC and Steam, PS4 and Steam, PS4 and Steam on the 4th of September this year. It was originally released in Japan last summer on the 3DS and the PS4. Square Enix originally decided not to localize the 3DS version, and it looks like we're not going to get it, but that's because there's less support for the 3DS, despite what we heard at the Nintendo Direct event about all these games coming to the 3DS.
Yeah.
The sales have started to kind of go down, so we'll see. It will also be coming to the Switch, but don't expect that for quite a while.
Aye.
So the next game will start a hunted hero in a standalone experience with new story. It's just skipped further than I expected it to. It will have some updates and improvements not seen in the original Japanese release. This will include English voiceover, Draconian Quest, which is a harder mode, overhauled UI, a new camera mode, and a new dash function, and many other system enhancements. So it's going to be pretty good.
Sounds it, man. Damn.
I'm going to have to start playing Dragon Quest again.
Oh, I put it in the list. God damn.
I think I got to like Dragon Quest 4. I've got a lot of catching up to do.
Are you seriously going to play it from 1 through to 11? Oh,
no,
Jesus.
I might just play a couple of Dragon Quest games and get back into the swing of it. Although there's probably not too much of a point in playing the older ones because they were older consoles.
Oh, actually proper sequels now. Not proper sequels, are they? Or is it like Final Fantasy?
It's a bit more like Final Fantasy.
Okay, cool.
However, Yeah. We have E3 coming up, and we're going to be doing a lot of coverage of that, hopefully. Another thing that we're going to keep our eye on comes a wee bit before E3 is the Video Game Hall of Fame. This year's finalists for induction have been announced. So 12 games have been nominated, and they are Asteroids,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Call of Duty,
No.
Dance Dance Revolution,
Oh, you gotta love it.
Final Fantasy VII,
The Holy One.
Half-Life,
Nah.
John Madden Football,
Nah.
King's Quest,
Rings a bell?
Metroid,
Oh, yeah.
Minecraft,
No.
Miss Pac-Man,
Okay.
Space War,
Rings a bell.
and Tomb Raider.
Sound.
I think that's a pretty well-rounded list there.
Yeah, kind of hitting all the kind of major ones, yeah.
Yep, and not just that, you've got old and new.
Well, you say old, it's like classics, man.
Yeah. Right. Before I scroll down on my notes, which of those games do you think is the newest?
As in just by title?
Yeah, which is the newest game? Which was released most recently? Oh, the cogs are turning.
Oh, wait, no, fuck you, it's Minecraft.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
Minecraft.
god damn.
Which do you think is the oldest?
Oh.
And what year do you think it was released in?
It's not Space War, is it?
It is Space War.
Wasn't that like 78 or something?
1962.
Damn. Fuck.
So, these, as you can tell just by the fact you've got Minecraft, which released in 2009, and Space War, which released in 1962. These video games span decades, various different gaming platforms, and countries of origin. What they all have in common is an undeniable impact on the world of gaming and pop culture. Space War, 1962.
Insane.
So the criteria for being nominated is icon status, basically that the game is widely recognised and remembered. Longevity, the game is more than a passing fad and has enjoyed popularity over time. Geographical reach, meaning that the game meets the above criteria across international boundaries. And influence, the game has exerted a significant influence on the design and development of other games, other forms of entertainment, or on pop culture and society in general. A game may be included on the basis of influence without necessarily having met all of the first three.
Oh, God. Fortnite's going to be in it for next year, isn't it?
No.
Oh, God.
No. Fortnite will be Video Game Hall of Fame 2022.
You're saying it with way too much certainty. That's sad.
I'm joking.
No, you see, you've said it now. It's gonna happen.
If it happens, someone owes me a bottle of whiskey. Don't care who. Someone owes me a bottle of whiskey.
It's you, lucky listener number 3.
Lucky listener number 3. That would be my mother.
Hi.
So yeah, anyone can nominate a video game for induction. The inductees are selected by an advisory committee composed of journalists, scholars, and other individuals familiar with the history of video games and their role in society. So, according to Marc, me.
So basically, it's weeaboos. Yeah.
Or you call me, what is it, a video game historian? The last podcast.
Yeah, but this is more like familiar with the history of video games and their role in society. That could be literally just like me rolling out of bed, going, "Yep, I know games. I know they influence society. I went in. What's up?"
So,
But yeah, video game historian. Yeah, that's so you.
Last year's inductees were Donkey Kong,
Nice.
Halo 1,
Yeah.
and Pokemon Red and Green, or as we call it in the UK, Pokemon Red and Blue.
Red and green.
Also, Street Fighter 2. The finalists who didn't make it last year were Final Fantasy VII, who have been renominated again this year.
They should be in it.
Windows Solitaire.
Like, seriously? Can I even get it? Really?
Yeah, it's still a video game.
It's fucking Solitaire, man.
It's still a video game.
Oh, it's such bull.
Mortal Kombat.
It's like fucking Minesweeper, man. Don't tell me that's in it.
Minesweeper got inducted in the... No, it didn't. At least I don't think it did.
Okay, Mortal Kombat's iconic. God damn.
Mortal Kombat. Missed, a classic puzzle game on the PC. It's so good.
I give Portal. Portal's pretty cool.
Portal.
I've seen that everywhere.
The original Resident Evil. Tomb Raider, which has been, again, nominated again this year. And Wii Sports. Who doesn't love a bit of Wii Sports?
But really, Hall of Fame Wii Sports.
Why not?
I'd rather have Mario Sport.
Wii Sport is amazing.
No, if you're into go to Mario or something, man.
I love
not
Wii Sports. Anyway, before we
video game historian over here.
Before we devolve into arguments,
Just bickering, please.
the Video Game Hall of Fame 2018 inductees will be announced May the 3rd, and we will let you know who was nominated. Oh,
Good lord. Come on, man. You can do it.
I was up to 5 o'clock this morning writing all this. So
I was out drunk till 4.
See who's the more dedicated one here.
Oh yeah, it takes a lot to get me drunk.
Anyway, yes. So we will cover that in our next podcast. We will let you know
Who won, basically.
who got inducted.
Yeah. And then more if it's like Final Fantasy VII who didn't get in again.
Yeah. So I think last time I brought up the fact that Fortnite and PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds are looking to become esports. And the problem was that they were a bit too random, game's a bit too big.
Yeah.
You couldn't really properly strategize, because like with CSGO you generally had people having a set of weapons that they use every time.
Yeah.
And you could strategize around that. But with PUBG and Fortnite, you kind of get whatever weapons you find in the crates or just lying around. So you can't have a kind of strategy.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I mean, how can you realistically compare two different games? One game, you like maybe get what, I don't know, like a rocket launcher or some random shit.
But it's not that. But the maps are generally too big for esports as well, because you're not going to get a lot of fast-paced action like you do in the likes of Call of Duty and CSGO. It's going to be a lot of manoeuvring, moving, and things like that. So PUBG has addressed this problem, sort of. The standard map is 8k by 8k, right? 8 kilometers up, 8 kilometers across. So that, that facilitates the standard game mode. The latest map they've introduced is only 4x4. So it's going to be smaller and there's going to be a lot more fighting. It could be kind of Hunger Games-ish.
Oh, jeez.
It's going to start. There's going to be massive killing.
How many players to a game again?
Generally, the Battle Royale is 100 man.
No wonder they think it's too difficult. Shit.
So, what's going to happen with half the size of the map, essentially, you're going to get, the game starts, loads of folk die, and then it's going to start getting tense, It's just how do you broadcast that? It's really still the issue. So we'll see. If it does become an esport, I will probably check out a couple of them, see what it's like, and then report back to you on my opinion on it.
Yeah, even then I probably wouldn't.
Although, despite that, like, PUBG has been putting too much emphasis on trying to become an esport. Like, Fortnite wants to become an esport, but they're not focusing on it. They're focusing on making the best Battle Royale game.
Yeah, I think they're probably
which is why
winning.
PUBG isn't doing as well as Fortnite, as much as player numbers are higher for PUBG than Fortnite. But
Are they?
yeah, because there's so many players in China that play PUBG and not Fortnite.
Yeah, but I think obviously Fortnite's got a bigger, more popular following.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say next. Like,
Just thought, getting there first.
like you'll see, like in football, player scores a goal, they'll do like one of the actions, like one of the emotes from the game, or they'll do the pickaxe motion. Like I was in visiting my sister in the hospital today. She just had her first child, so congratulations to them.
Congrats.
I know they're not listening.
They might.
No, they've got better things to do, like
Diaper Wayne.
feeding the Wayne,
And afterwards comes diapering. Well then.
sleeping.
Oh god, the sleep. Get as much as you can, guys.
But there was a family that were waiting outside with us to go in and see one of their family members, and
Just hanging out.
one of the kids started doing one of the Fortnite dances in the hallway. So it's not even just sports. It's like I see it at the youth club I help out at as well. You see a lot of it.
It's straight up infested our culture, man. God damn it.
Yes, that's why Fortnite is likely to be in the Hall of Fame next year.
I know.
Because it has
hell.
is penetrated. It's penetrated pop culture. Penetrated is not the right word.
Don't worry, it's impregnated everything.
But good news for anime fans out there, especially ones like me who like One Piece.
Try to watch it. You know where you get a part of a series, but then you don't have like a good website for it or whatever.
Kiss Anime.
Oh, I'll try that.
I use Kiss Anime.
But yeah, so I got to a certain point. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing!" Couldn't see it anymore. I was like, "No!" And then I seen this game, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" Because this game looks amazing.
Yes. Bandai Namco are bringing us a new One Piece game. It's going to be on PS4, Xbox One, and PC next year. There is no current release date, but we do know the name. It's going to be called One Piece World Seekers. It's an open-ended action adventure that represents a brand new chapter in the epic saga. So yeah, it's a One Piece game. It follows Monkey D. Luffy, and yeah, hopefully we get to find the One Piece this time.
Like for me, this looks like a departure from most anime games. It
Yeah.
actually looks graphically, it looks amazing.
I played Attack on Titan: Winds of Freedom,
I think my little brother's got it. He says it was amazing.
and it was great fun. And my brother just recently bought Attack on Titan 2.
Brother's
which is
got
a
that
sequel
also.
to that.
Yeah.
And it still looks amazing. But the thing is, it's kind of very similar to One Piece Pirate Warriors, which isn't made by Bandai Namco. That's made by Tecmo Koei,
Okay.
the guys that make Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors.
Yeah.
So it's the same style of game, but it uses that kind of lore and the characters and stuff,
Mhm.
and it also changes the mechanics a wee bit to fit that anime. Like, where in Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors, you're generally, carting about in a horse if you need to get somewhere fast. In Attack on Titan, you're using your ODM gear.
Yeah.
So, they don't get me wrong, Tecmo Koei have done an amazing job making hack and slash games of anime series, especially One Piece, because not everyone uses a sword or a spear or anything like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
And also, don't play Sanji in the later levels because he's useless.
Huh.
He turns to stone whenever the girls are around.
Doesn't every guy?
No, not me.
Mr. Jelly.
Not me. Yes, I turn to jelly, not stone. Oh, man. I just keep digging myself a bigger hole.
Yep.
Anyway, the two biggest bits of game news,
Here comes the tragic moments.
and we're on to once again EA. It's
God
bad
damn
news.
it.
However, this time is not so much of a rant at EA, and more we're kind of feeling sorry for BioWare.
No.
Because Anthem
Fucking
might be in
hell.
trouble. It might be in trouble. I'm going to kind of condense what I was reading and listening to
Mm-hmm.
into basic points, right? The BioWare team has lost a lot of lead members of their team's writing, design, animation. I think their lead producer died, and he was kind of one of the guys that gelled it all together.
Right, okay.
The game was reviewed internally at the end of 2017 and wasn't looking good. It wasn't looking good. So now BioWare staff are fearful for their jobs, because if Anthem doesn't go well, it's going to go similar to the way of what happened to BioWare Montreal after Mass Effect Andromeda didn't meet sales expectations or quality expectations, or whatever happened to Visceral. I'm going to say because of making a single player Star Wars game, but EA seem to be doing that now too. So I don't know what their stance on single player games is anymore. But yeah, I'm hoping it's not as bad as it sounds. But remastering the original Mass Effect trilogy for the new generation may have been the better course of action for now, because that would at least get fans on side with them.
I mean, if they released literally just say like a Mass Effect Master Pack for PS4, right, with all the DLC kind of included.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been great. Literally just like clicking Mass Effect 1, play through it, sound 2, you get all the DLC, sound 3, it all worked in together with all the new DLC. I mean, I'd have much preferred that, because Andromeda for me just, it's like a bad version of it. It
Yeah.
just was poor.
I mean, I wanted to like Mass Effect Andromeda.
I think everyone did.
I'm determined to finish it, even though I'm not that into it.
I could ruin it for you, though. Like, let's actually ruin it for me, because I'm just not interested in playing it now.
Let me guess, Ryder dies at the end.
Oh, not even that deep. Obviously, take Mass Effect 1, right?
Yeah.
You finish it, you feel like you completed a chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it ended there, like, and the series could have ended there, and you'd be like, well, I did it. I did my mission. Andromeda finishes on a cliffhanger.
Oh, I already knew that.
But what's the point, man?
Because it was going to be a trilogy, but because it didn't go down with the fans as they were hoping, because it was a kind of buggy mess to begin with,
Mm-hmm.
it didn't, and they've kind of put Mass Effect on a hiatus for the meantime.
I mean, just as a story method, it was a poor idea. Like, the best part of the Mass Effect in each one is you have a specific mission.
Yeah.
You do that mission, you've got a feeling of accomplishment, of achievement. And Andromeda, you didn't have a mission. Explore this planet. Sound. Explore this, universe. Sound. Okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
There's no mission. There's no impetus. There's
Yeah. But not just that. The amount of bugs that were in the game and glitches. That facial animation was so bad.
which doesn't make sense. I mean, you get the third one.
It's BioWare. They can do better.
And damn, have you seen Dragon Age?
I've played.
Inquisition, it's so beautiful for a game. Except, okay, get one thing has always been a pain in the ass for me when it comes to Inquisition. They can't do beards for shit.
Oh no!
It looks like sticking beards, man. Everything else is beautiful. The dragons, but no, beards, can't do it.
What's that thing called? You use the magnet and you put the hair on him and the beard with the iron filings. Was it called Willy Willy or something?
Oh fuck, man.
You know what I'm talking about, at least.
No, but I was gonna say it's more like Mr. Potato Head. You stick,
No.
imagine like you can stick in a beard, Mr. Potato Head. It's like it's straight, like just fake as shit, and you're like, it's not meant to be there, but it sits there.
It's like this wee thing, right? It's about the size of a postcard, right?
Right.
And it's got a plate of glass over it, and you thing it down, and everything falls to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got a face printed on the paper on the inside. You got a magnet, and you pull bits of iron filings up, and you turn it into hair and a mustache and everything.
Huh.
I'll have to Google it and show you it after.
Crazy.
But anyway, back to the point.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
Anthem is in trouble. It's been delayed to mid 2019, even though EA say it's not a delay. I still want it to be good. I still hope it's not as bad as it's sounding.
Like, I don't care if I have to wait longer as long as it delivered properly. There's no point in putting out a game when it's Andromeda level when you want it to be like Mass Effect 3 level.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not even that. Like, in an interview, they were asked, is this game just really difficult to make, or is it in development hell?
Mm-hmm.
And as time went on, it seemed to move from difficult to make slowly, without BioWare saying it directly. Just the way they were wording things made it sound like it may just be in development hell. Because that's been since the end of Mass Effect 3, this has been in development.
Which is unfortunate.
Yes. And more about upcoming games that aren't actually out yet but still in development. We've finally got an update on Final Fantasy 15. We started with Final Fantasy 15. We're finishing with Final Fantasy 7R, for the news at least. And we finally got an update on it. After 3 years, Square Enix don't feel it's good enough. It's also looking like Square Enix could be starting over, as there's been job postings for various positions, but the one that stuck out was level planners. The job description is to organise workflow of location development, brainstorm level designs for each location, and implement the data using Unreal Engine 4. Now, this is something that's usually done pretty early in a game's development, when they start coding it at least, and like, because you've got concept, story, then all the other wee bits, and then once you start kind of building the game, in the engine, that's kind of one of the first things you start doing. However, Square Enix are known for being kind of perfectionists. Hence why Final Fantasy 15 took 10 years, and it was originally maybe Versus 13, and then it had another concept, and then finally 15. So from start to finish, it did take 10 years, and it's still being developed with the Royal Edition just coming out, and more than likely so much more support for it through DLC. So it's they aren't it's not like they're going to go, it's not perfect, we're not releasing it. It's likely to be, it's not perfect, we'll release, but what we have is good enough, so we'll release it just now and update as time goes on.
Yeah.
But Square Enix are also saying they need a core group to work in the game. Now, your core group is your lead writer, your lead developer, your lead sound engineer, lead level designer, lead animator, all the people that are kind of leaving BioWare just now. Square Enix doesn't even have them in place. Now, you need this kind of before you even start making the game.
Well, if they work out enough, the guys from BioWare could just jump over there.
The guys at BioWare are good enough, that's the thing. The issue is probably they don't speak Japanese.
Oh, yeah, that's a fair point, yeah.
However, I don't speak Japanese yet. I would still go and work for Square Enix.
Oh, that'd be funny.
It would be. So, Square Enix have said on the current state of the game, while we are reaching a satisfactory level in terms of reproducing the original title in high quality graphics, we have come to the conclusion that we should aim even higher in order to meet the expectations of the fans. They continue on by saying, that said, we will tackle the production of this big title by establishing core members in various positions such as level planner, battle planner, designer, engineer, etc., including existing members of the development team. Interested applicants are expected to work as a core member. Like, this is what it says in the job application that's open. So I would expect possibly more delays, no longer looking at a late 2019, maybe a mid 2020 release at the earliest, I would think. A big part of this reason is likely Square Enix moving development in-house. They recently cut ties with CyberConnect 2 to have better quality control and keep a keep a more stable schedule. CyberConnect 2 are known for making the Naruto and Ninja Storm games.
Ooh, not bad.
So it's not like they're just some pokey-wee developer. They are a pretty big team, and they do make quite high-quality games. They're not games that I play particularly because I'm not much of a Naruto fan.
Pure show.
I prefer Final Fantasy Unlimited and One Piece, okay? Give me a break.
There's love in your heart for more than them. Just saying.
Yeah. Attack on Titan. And Pokemon.
How can... Attack on Titan's good, man, but come on, that's just like... You love getting a heart, that's what Attack on Titan is. Oh, you're a nice guy. Never mind. Oh, you're kind of... No, never mind.
It's okay. The character I find most relatable is still alive. It's cool.
Oh.
At least at the end of season 1. I've not seen season 2 yet.
It's Armin, isn't it?
No. Jean Kirstein.
Oh, Jesus.
The leader. The reluctant leader. That's me. That's me within Gamingkin. Sure, I started Gamingkin, but I don't want to be the leader. I want everyone to be equal. I'm the founder, and that is it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still seem to be the leader.
Says the guy who's working off his own script.
I don't have an Attack on Titan reference in my script.
That's what I'm here for. Tangents.
I always have a script. I don't read all the script straight out. I will go off on tangents and all that. I use the script as kind of a guide to remind me of where I am, at least, so I can go back to there. Anyway, yes. Also, so I get quotes right as well.
Yeah.
Yoshinori Kitase has said regarding the episodic nature of the remake, the goal is to structure it more like Final Fantasy XIII than an episodic nature. He adds, it will essentially be a full-scale game for each part of the multi-part series. So basically, they're trying to make a full game out of a third of a game 3 times in a row.
Oh, God.
So yeah, it can be worrying when you read it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, hopefully Square Enix know what they're doing. I have faith in Square Enix. I mean, it's a worrying thing to read, but they know what they're doing, surely.
So, like, is this going to be like a Hobbit of video games? It's one story, but damn, they stretch that bitch.
Yes. So the job application also asked that everyone in the team should bring fresh ideas, which could be good or bad depending on what they mean by fresh ideas.
Yeah.
It could be good, bringing a modern perspective to the game for the newer generation.
Or bad, like loot boxes.
But it could be worrying that SE might just be adding stuff for the sake of adding stuff. But then again, I'm quite biased in that way because I want FF7R to be out and I want to play it. I've been waiting for it since...
He was 7.
No, well, when did the PS3 come out?
Oh Jesus! Don't tell me. I'll feel old.
Well, basically, you got the kind of tech demo for the PS3,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the opening cutscene from Final Fantasy. With the train and all that.
Yeah.
That wasn't them announcing Final Fantasy 7R, but I've wanted Final Fantasy 7R since I've seen that tech demo. So they've got the story, they've got, everything's already there. They just need to put a new coat of paint on it. Really. Although everyone's like, no, but you need to change the battling system because, a lot of younger players won't like turn-based. I'm like, well, boo-hoo for younger players. They have to have what we dealt with. They don't have the struggles that we do.
I wouldn't even say it's a Delta thing. I actually preferred turn-based.
Oh, I love turn-based. Turn-based is my preferred style of battling in RPGs. Like, I was playing GTA with Josh and a couple of other folk, and I just went on, I think, about a 20-minute rant about how games now seem to be more about instant gratification because young folk don't have the attention span to play a full-on couple of 100-hour RPG.
Okay, grandpa time. Calm down, you. Young people.
Young folk.
Jeez. And that instant gratification, really.
Yeah.
Like, what about, like, Dark Souls, man? That ain't instant gratification.
No, but it's also not very many young people that play it. It's all kind of our generation of gamers who, while yes, we are quite young. I'm talking, when I say young people, I mean teenagers and younger.
Oh, so
Who-
Fortnite level.
Who, when they plug in a game, they pretty much want to be able to just smash right through everything and be pretty much done with it and on to the next thing. Or just play multiplayer.
Yeah.
You know, they don't understand having to grind out about 40 levels because you're so underpowered.
They want things, and they want them now.
But no, I'm quite biased about what bringing fresh ideas means back to my original point there. Within FF7R, I hope it is bringing a modern perspective to the game for the newer generation of players, and it's not just adding new stuff for the sake of it. But to be fair, I'm like I said, quite biased that way. I just want FF7 with modern graphics. That is what I want. I think that's all you really need to do for FF7. Because, I mean, even if they leave it turn-based, a lot of Final Fantasy fans who are of the younger generation, as I call it, they'll probably be, FF13 onwards, maybe FF12, where it wasn't turn-based, it was real-time.
Yeah.
Especially 15. So, giving them that, I understand, because that's what they're used to, but it doesn't quite capture the magic of FF7.
Right, I just think of one mechanic I would love to get outside of turn-based, like into real-time, and that's Cloud and his bike. That bike was bitching.
That was cool.
I'd love to go like all kind of stunt bits and like just out now kind of wilds, man.
The screenshots and the small video clips I've seen for FF7R have been amazing. I hope they're not going to try and make super realistic graphics, because the graphics we got in the screenshots and the trailer are so good that I hope just getting them with those. I mean, those are 2015 graphics, and I mean, I like we said last time, we are kind of more story over graphics. Actually, that might not have been last time, that might have been the time before,
Or just in general. Story trumps graphics.
Yeah.
There's no point in having a great looking turd.
Yeah, pretty much. But definitely feel that if you are going to, remaster it to up the graphics, you want the graphics to be as good as they can be.
Yeah.
Especially if it's such an old game. It's nearly, it is 20 years old, that game. Damn. So, yeah, I think just, it doesn't need to be top of the range graphics, it just needs to be good enough. See if you just brought it up to the level that Skyrim's at, I'd be happy with that.
Like, if we did try to make it like almost like, say, photorealistic, whatever, Cloud's hair would worry me.
Yeah.
I'd worry try and do what like Dragon Ball Evolution did, and just get like normal hair but spiked up, and you're like, who is that meant to be? That's Goku. No. But then it's just like Cloud, but he's just somewhat long blonde hair gelled up, and you're like, no.
No, the inner workings of Barrett's gun arm is the ones that would worry me.
I like that always did confuse me. Like, how does that work, man? It's like, what? It's like, it just spins and it shoots, and you're like, what?
That's how a minigun works.
Yeah, but not when it's right attached to his arm, man.
You never know.
Eventually, it's like, okay, do you shoot bone? Is that it? What the hell?
That is one thing I've always asked. Where does the ammo actually come from?
I think doesn't it not have a sniper version or something? And it does have a bit come out. Yeah, just a standard Gatling gun. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. But yeah, that's it for the news. We actually got through that a lot quicker than I expected.
Huh? How quick is quick?
I don't know how long it's been, but because I've got my kind of notes up rather than the recording app, but it's quicker than I expected. I expected to be here till midnight going through all the news.
Damn, you'd have been in it yourself because I'd have been asleep by then.
That's fine. I can let you sleep on my floor. I don't mind. I'm not working tomorrow.
He's so generous for a boss.
I'm not the boss.
What's it you said? Oh yes, I'm a reluctant boss. No, just not even the boss. There's a reluctant boss and there's just reluctant.
I'm a reluctant leader. I'm not the boss. There's a difference between leader and boss.
Which is?
As the leader, you don't have to listen to me. But you're better off doing so. As the boss, you have to listen to me.
Sorry, what?
Exactly. You're fired.
Oh.
But no, yes, that is it for the news. Anything else you would like to talk about, Mark?
No, I just want my bed. God damn.
There we go.
Some closing.
His bed.
It's bedtime.
Yes, thank you for listening to Gamingkin once again. We do apologise for having been AWOL for a week. We're glad we've got everything fixed and that we can be doing this again. We also have our new setup. Instead of using one mic between the two of us, we have separate mics and a soundboard. And it's hopefully this does sound a lot better for you guys. It can only get better. At least I like to think that. At least I like to think that. So yes, that's a thank you, and see you next time around from me.
And praise the sun from me.
And in fact, actually,
oh, here we go.
There was one thing I wanted to. I mentioned it briefly earlier, but I was actually going to go a wee bit more into detail before we finish off tonight, and that is E3 in January.
Mm-hmm.
June. I am so my brain is mush. Well, what we're going to do, hopefully, if we have the time, is do a podcast on, because we usually do this every second Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
But what we're going to hopefully do is do a podcast on the Monday, everything we want to see at E3.
Mm-hmm.
On the Tuesday, cover day 1. On the Wednesday, cover day 2. On the Thursday, cover day 3. On the Friday, cover day 4. And on the Saturday, cover anything else we've missed and give our overall reaction to E3. I think some of those days it might just be me on my own.
No, I'll probably come around, but that's going to be a hell of a lot of takeout. God damn.
We don't have to do takeout every night.
Yeah, right.
We don't.
Uh-huh.
I'm not doing takeout every night. I will be fat.
Well, I'm already there, so I don't mind.
We will on the days, like on the Tuesday, we'll probably cover our favourite things from E3 that day.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the Wednesday, we'll do a brief thing on anything we might have missed, and cover, day 2, our highlights, and do the same for, day 3 on the Thursday and day 4 on the Friday, and on Saturday we will do a big proper long one where we cover everything that we've missed through the whole week, our highlights from the whole week, and things that we're gutted we didn't actually see. Don't elbow the mic, Mark.
My bad. Technically, the shoulder.
But yeah, so we'll just cover every day, and then cover on the last day things we're gutted we didn't see, things that we were proper excited about when we saw. Some things we should expect to see is a lot of stuff from Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Probably as part of the Sony E3 conference, something to do with Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, it's looking cool.
And we'll probably get some more info about FF7R.
Hopefully something.
Hopefully. From Square Enix. And we'll probably get some more Kingdom Hearts footage as well. So yeah, that's what we can hope to expect. As more things get released for E3, we will get more excited about it. And I gotta admit, rather than watching it all on YouTube and then doing it on the podcast later, I'd rather be over there at E3 and then do it on the podcast after.
Well, by all means, go win the lottery.
I can't afford to go to LA for a week. I'm already saving up for Japan.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I mean, there's always budget E3. I call it budget E3, but it's not even. It's still just as expensive, and it's probably better than E3, and that's PAX East, which I think is this weekend. So I've missed it anyway.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's either this weekend or next weekend, if my memory serves. So, yeah. But yeah, once again, thank you for listening to Gaming Kin. We will catch you next time, and just remember, when everything starts to go right again, you can praise the sun, because there's always room for you here at Gaming Kin if you want to be our friend.